Hey everyone, welcome back. You are once again on the Bitcoin bridge. And now it's been about 5 years since I last went to China, and I'm really starting to miss those Chinese Bitcoin conferences. They always do a great show, it's a great time, great people. One of the events there last week was the BSV Bootcamp, and we've got another presenter. It's Gulu from Satoplay, and he's recently launched Sensible Contract as well. There's a few things about Sensible Contract that we'd like to explain and maybe clarify. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in NFTs, tokens, contracts, games, all of that stuff, keep watching. Okay, hi Gu, and welcome to the Bitcoin Bridge. Thanks a lot for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Hi, John. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too at last. Now, I know you've been at the BSV Bootcamp for, I think it was all last week. I hear you had a
Yeah,
great
yeah,
time
yeah.
there and saw lots of interesting things. So, can you tell us all about that and what happened there?
Yeah, we have more people than I can expect it because we did some preparation, but still feel not enough for that. But we do have a very encouraging day for introducing sensible contract, and we listen to other developers. They have many suggestions, and they have many interaction between the protocol and their apps. That's very exciting for us, and we are still we are still looking into their ideas and how we can pushing forward. And they have other protocols like Meta ID
Yeah.
and some other interesting features. Yeah. And we learned a lot from that. I think this is quite a learning boot camp, I think.
That's right, yeah. And if you're watching this and you're interested in checking out some of the other projects that we're presenting at the boot camp, just look at the previous few episodes and you'll find out a lot. What was the most
Yeah.
interesting thing you saw there?
I think it's the new features from Script team.
Yeah,
Uh, they
everyone
are
says that.
not they are not only providing some new examples. They are providing new features which can give us a more stable foundation for sensible contract to interact with applications above it. I think this is quite encouraging because it's not only us we are who are pushing forward. It's everyone in the community are pushing forward, so we can have a relatively higher velocity forward.
Excellent. Yeah, I've heard everyone who's been at the boot camp says that they were particularly interested in Script. So yeah, I want to encourage everyone to watch
Yeah,
our interview with Xiaohui Liu a few weeks ago as well, because he tells us all about that.
sure, sure. We can provide plenty of materials about it, tutorials, documentations, examples, and such things.
Nice. I'm always looking for new materials, so please.
Yeah.
Okay, so
All right.
just so everyone can get to know you a little bit better, you were known mainly as the founder of Sato Play, which is a pretty popular gaming
Yeah.
platform on BSV. Tell us all about that.
Yeah, we have a initial idea about developing games on BSV, but one game doesn't last for a long time. So we decided to build a platform that we can develop one and more games on it, and then we can see the economy between games. That's something we'd like to experiment with and explore. And then uh, in December in last year, we have integrated the badge service from Dot Wallet. So we have our first token solution on that, and we can see the tokens flow from one game to another game on the platform. And I think maybe it's time we can do something more. And then in this year, we are experimenting with some new features like FT, NFT, the NFT, and the trading, the new market, and the interaction features between players. And maybe later we have moments for them, in-game moments or achievements for them.
So, what kind of games do you have on Sato Play?
It's mainly about casual games, I think,
Yeah.
because we are a very small team. We cannot make triple A titles currently, but it's our objective in long term, I think, because we know that BSV has a very scaled future. So maybe we can create a very immersive virtual world for most people around. And this requires much more efforts from now on, I think. So we started from casual game, very small games, and then we move forward one step by one step, I think.
Are you able to tell us roughly how many people are using Satoplay? How many players you've got?
Actually, we have currently 20,000 registered
20,000.
accounts,
Mm.
but some of them we know that they are duplicated accounts, and we have about two to 3,000 monthly active users currently.
That's still pretty impressive, yeah. And are the games available
Yeah,
in English as well as Chinese?
yeah, they have most of them have two versions, Chinese version and the English version, I think.
Excellent. All right. Okay. Well, the other thing I know this is on your mind at the moment because I've seen you talking about it a lot on Twitter. Is Sensible Contract. How did you become
Yeah.
involved with Sensible Contract? And yeah, what's the deal? What is it?
Yeah, in last year in December, Jiang Jie, who is another developer, worked with me in 2018. Uh, he proposed the idea to me and asked me, "Is it possible on BSV?" We are digging into it, and we in 1 month we find it's applicable, and we write the protocol sorry. We read the prototype and the document, the initial document. But at that time, I'm not quite a senior developer on script because I didn't do any production contract. So I proposed the document and the code to Edward Liu in January this year, and he gave us very encouraging feedbacks. And then we started to put most of our time into it and develop the website and the foundation tools, services, and browsers and integrations with Satoplay and other services. So you can see there is a 1+9 distributions, the joint release, and we are having a lot of more developers coming to us and they intend to use it in their applications.
So, so one of the big issues, I wouldn't call it a problem so much, but an issue with tokens and contracts on BSV is there isn't a standard. There isn't one standard that works across the entire system. There's many different competing standards, and that means that you can have a token that works in one wallet, but you can't transfer it to another wallet. I know people are working on solutions for that, but we don't have that quite yet. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I often am. But how?
Yeah, yeah, we do have a lot of token solutions, and maybe none of them has prominent positions currently. Um, and what the most thing that I want to say is the sensible contract starts with token solution, but not ends with it. It's currently a contract model
Right.
for maybe new computing things. Yeah, the token is the starting point.
Yeah.
So we are not intending, well, we don't intend to compete with other token solutions. They can have their own, and maybe we can support it, support the ones which are applied in most applications. I think we are not competing with them. We can be compatible with them.
You can't
Also,
be
we also
compatible.
have our own. Yeah. I told other developers that we are not going to beat them or eat them or some other things. We want to contribute with them, and they can also merge their solutions into sensible contract. For example, the BTP solution. The BTP solution is developed by CC, who is another Chinese developer, and we had a meeting with him and explained our idea, and he merged the BTP protocol into our solutions to make the sensible contract a better one, because CC Chen Cheng has a very experienced script development experience, and he helped us to reduce the script size and many other things. They have very good ideas, so we work closely on that. I see it's positive things, and we are welcome to other developers who can contribute, and we can grow better.
Awesome. Now, I was reading the white paper for Sensible Contract, and I actually made it all the way through to the end, which is pretty rare for me and a white paper. But I just wanted to hear it from you. Why did you decide to develop that? What makes it better than some of the other offerings out there?
Actually, Bitcoin script has its limitations, and using sensible contract, we can break the limitations and we can move forward. Maybe it would be having more limitations in the futures, and we can find a way to break it or work around with it or doing more things. But currently, since we are still in the very early stages of Bitcoin development, so I see sensible contract is the big breakthrough concretely in the contract back tracing and collaboration. In these two directions, there is no solutions before sensible contract, and then we provide it. And we see developers are helping us to build, for example, the collaboration model. Collaboration model requires the more specifically defined protocols between different contracts. We can do a lot of things on that. So we can interact from sensible contract to other token solutions. Maybe you mentioned maybe run on Bitcoin or some other protocols. We can communicate. Yeah, we can communicate and we can work together, I think. I see this is a huge benefit we didn't see from previous.
I hope so. Yeah, and I saw some of the issues described in the white paper were that if you used a third party protocol, then most of the action is happening off chain. And if that protocol service goes away, then it might not be compatible with others. And the other, using some call it layer 1 or layer 0 tokens using UTXOs, is that they can keep adding to the size of subsequent transactions and making them much huger. I think I've got the right understanding there. Sensible contract helps solve this problem. So can you tell us how it does that?
Yeah, it helps, but it's not a 100% L1 solution because it requires external service, right? But it's about 99% L1 solution, I think, because we have most of our logic, our data in the Bitcoin script other than other solutions. Because other solutions provide their critical logic in off-chain service, but we put every critical logic into Bitcoin script and every critical data into Bitcoin script. I think this would be quite different for us to do it. About the white paper, I can do a bit more explanation, because
for it.
if you read the white paper, you may see that the half part, the first half part is something that's quite readable, and the second half of the white paper is something that cannot be understood clearly, because
it sounds like a lot of white papers I've read.
I talked with Jiang Jie, and we think the white paper should provide the minimal knowledge to the issue, so we can hit the kernels, the kernel stuff of the solution. So I'd like to reduce the whole size of the white paper in the future to make it more slim. I think to make it shorter and much more clearly, and provide more explanations in other documents, tutorials, examples on our official website. And some developers told me that after they heard the presentation I made in last Thursday, all of their questions has been solved, and they congratulate me about such a wonderful solution, because they configure it just with the white paper, and I told them that's why we are doing the presentations. That's why we are recording the presentations and writing good articles on our website. And this needs some time. We just need some more days to put everything prepared for others. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. So you haven't had any problems explaining it, and there haven't been any issues that people have raised that you didn't know about?
Yeah, in the white paper, I made a mistake, because I always talk about the backtracing and the collaboration together, which is not quite comprehensible. And what I did in the presentation is I focused on the backtracing problem one step by one step, and explain the whole process without any interruptions. So they feel like a better thing than white paper, I think. Yeah, but I'll improve the white paper since it's only currently 0.2 version, I think. Maybe we can bump it into 0.3 later.
It's Bitcoin. You're allowed to put out a few beta versions before you do the full one.
Yeah, we are still in the very early days. Yeah.
It is only 10 pages long, so it's quite manageable. And I like the way you explained how the contract works with 3 questions. Like where am I going, who am I with, and where did I come from? So the contract must deal with all of those issues.
Yeah, they are living things.
So one.
Yeah, and we also find that. Sorry. We also find a different viewpoint. Yeah, we also find a very different viewpoint from ourselves to the contract. Before this, we see a contract is something like a paper contract between one people and other people. But then we have some official narratives from the Bitcoin Association's presentation. They define it as an automation of contract transaction steps. So we see one contract is only a single step in a sequence, and many transactions they work together to build a much complicated things, and they can communicate together. So this inspires us to define the BCP, the Bitcoin Contract Protocol proposal, the protocol. If you look into the protocol, you can see most of them are composing different contract into a much more complicated one. This helps a lot, because this keeps every contract simple. This keeps every contract in it as a very simple single step, so we can have less bugs and we can upgrade each of them.
Very nice. And
Yeah.
you've actually got Sensible Contract running on Satoplay, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
one,
And we also work
sorry,
with
go on.
sorry, we also work with the show app team,
Mm-hmm.
and they are integrating into their apps, and also work with Vault, the wallet, the
Yeah,
Vault
Vault.
wallet,
Mm-hmm.
and they are also doing. Yeah. And they have some exchange services based on that.
Because one of the questions I've heard about Sensible Contract is how it can be implemented, because there is a way you can implement it, as a third-party service, and there's another, maybe slightly more controversial way that would actually involve a change to the Bitcoin protocol, which is I don't know how
Actually,
likely that is.
yeah,
Probably not
actually,
very.
actually, we look into this issue very seriously because we don't want to build a huge animal outside the blockchain, and we choose the very carefully designed service, which can be kept as a minimal service. The whole, if you look into the source code of the service, you can see it's less than 100 lines of code, and it's very simple. It's a fixed small function that you can integrate into everything else. The wallet can integrate it and check and provide the signature before it sends the transaction. And the validator, the merchant, the customer, all of them, they can have the service. The service can be everywhere because it's small enough. In practice, we deployed it on AWS Lambda server, and it requires no hard drive storage.
No hard
It
drive
doesn't need
storage.
to store anything. Yeah, it it's just doing some work to give a signature to a fixed data part, and the data part is on chain, so it doesn't store anything. It doesn't have to maintain anything. It doesn't have to be online. It can be offline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
so it could be anywhere because it's quite it's quite cheap. So if you say maybe someone can hack it, or maybe someone can DDoS to a DDoS attacking for it, but we have a multi-sig. We can have a multi-sig, and we also implemented in the latest version of the NFT on Satoplay. We have a 3 of 5 the multi-sig. So you'd have to take down all signature service in order to hack into it. So I see,
sounds like you're
and we
issuing
also
a
have
challenge.
other, yeah, we Jiang Jie, who is the one proposed the idea. He developed a more advanced feature called version deprecation service.
Mm-hmm.
So in this way, we can deprecate older signature service in the future in a maintainable way, which is far better than the multi-sig solution, I think. Yeah, we see a lot of possibilities in the future.
So if you could have your way and it was actually possible to make a change to the Bitcoin protocol that would make it run better, what would you change? What would that change be?
This is a very controversial thing because we talked this with Xiaohui, and he told us currently you suggest one way to improve the Bitcoin, and they accept it.
Mm-hmm.
Another team requires another change. Are they willing to accept it, or which is the fundamental principle that can decide which things can go into the software and which cannot? This could be very confusing things. So currently we are not seeking to encourage this being accepted. Although we hope it, but we are not doing things actively to pushing it forward. I think this question will be left to N-Chain or the infrastructure team. This is something we should consider.
What kind of comments or reactions have you had from the SV Node team or N-Chain? Have they said much about it?
We proposed it in January, and we didn't have some feedback on it for us. And someone told me to wait, and we'll wait.
Still waiting. Okay. Well, maybe they're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Going through all the details.
Yeah. I think this should take a long time. It's good. It's good because I don't want people to see it and tell me in the next day it works or not, because we are seeing quite plenty of possibilities, and maybe they are seeing it, and they are researching it carefully about the opportunities, I think, and we can have a deep view about many other possibilities, and we can have a write-up for them on our website for their research, for the complement. For the material as they can study, and maybe we can talk about it later with N-Chain by giving more materials on it.
Yeah, so I should just before we finish, I should just clarify again that Sensible Contract is up and running. It is implemented, and different services like Satoplay are using it. So it can be used. It's not that part is not controversial. It's just going deeper.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah,
it's working. We are delivering our first NFT service on Satoplay, and it has the more than 5,000 instances on mainnet in less than 48 hours. Yeah, less than 48 hours. So it works.
Great. All right then. So if anyone's still watching and they're curious about it, where should they go to get all of the info?
Yeah, you can go to the sensiblecontract.org and to see the latest things we disclosed, and you can talk with us on WeChat, a very popular software in China. We have very actively talking groups in that, and we can also we are also going to deliver something through Twitter, I think. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
in these places.
Okay, and they can also follow Satoplay on Twitter. And is that satoplay.com?
Sure.
Is that .com for Satoplay?
Yeah, satoplay.com.
Okay, yeah. All right, we'll send them to satoplay.com.
Yeah, satoplay.com.
Okay, very interesting projects and very encouraging too. And if it has Xiaohui Lu's appeal, then yep, I think everyone should definitely take another look at it. All right, all right,
you, Joe.
Thanks a lot for coming on the show, and we absolutely do want to speak to you again.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, Joe.